receiving her master's in education tonight. So congratulations to Ashley and the entire Finelli family. So I am back in the hot seat tonight. Are there any board reports? I don't think so, right? Okay. So in that case, I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Valenti.
Okay, thank you. I'll present. So good evening, everyone. We have a plentiful superintendent's report. So let's get right to it for Tuesday, May the 7th, 2024. I do want to announce before we get to the first item that this is a public budget hearing, and during the course of tonight, there'll be an opportunity for any further comments on the legal budget of $105,692,491. This is an estimated expenditure for next school year. The budget-to-budget increase is 3% for Eastchester. We are below the tax cap of 2.96%, and the vote is on May 21st from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., and that would be in the middle school gym. Earlier this evening, we stream-lived a line item analysis of the budget organized by the PTA, and if there are any additional comments on the budget, this certainly is an appropriate time to do so this evening. But first of all, we'd like to use the superintendent's report to honor our middle school science Olympiad team. Our co-advisors, Daniela Laurie and Tom Bussanat, would like to come up here and talk a little about some wonderful achievements. So folks, let's welcome them with a round of applause. And Madeline LeBeau, the middle school principal, would likewise join them. Good.
Happy to be back. Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Valenti, district administrators, and of course our Eastchester learning community. We want to extend our deepest gratitude to you for your unwavering support and guidance. On April 5th and 6th, we embarked on a historic journey for our school as we participated in the New York State Science Olympiad competition in Syracuse, New York for the very first time. Despite tough competition, our students secured 2 top 10 medals, 5th in optics and 9th in dynamic planet. But it doesn't stop there. With 5 additional top 20 finishes out of 40 teams and a remarkable 29th position statewide, our team's dedication shines through. In a field of 647 regional competitors, earning a spot in the state tournament is no small feat. A huge thanks to our coaches, Tom Boisenall and Daniela Laurie, whose passion and hard work have inspired all of us. I extend my continued congratulations to our Science Olympiad team for their resilience and spirit. We are profoundly grateful for your support through this exhilarating journey. Your unwavering commitment to our success has been instrumental in helping us achieve this significant milestone. I thank you many times for believing in us and for championing our endeavors. Thank you.
All right, good evening, everyone. We're thrilled to be back this evening. I know we had our visit in March following the regional competition as we got ready and excited for the state tournament. And we're happy to be here tonight to share all the great news from that event. So we'd like to thank Dr. Valenti and the board for supporting our trip to the state tournament. It was truly an incredible weekend for the students and something that I think they'll really never forget, and something that we're looking forward to in the years to come as well, to revisit and keep going back to states each year. So as Mrs. LeBeau mentioned, we had some amazing results at our state tournament. We found out when we got there how big the playing field actually was, that it was 647 teams that competed at regional events in New York State. And out of those 647 teams, we were one of the 40 that actually got to go to that state tournament. And while we were there, we had the 2 top 10 medals, 5th in optics, as well as 9th in dynamic planet, and the 5 additional top 20 medals in those events shown. Some pictures from our journey there. It was really, really just a blast for the students. We were able to really spend time as a team and get to celebrate all of the accomplishments, and they just had an absolute blast that whole weekend. Okay, so we'd also like to welcome our student speakers. We have 2 members of our team here this evening, Samarth Goindi and then Matthew De Jesus. And so first, Samarth will be presenting about the optics event, and we'd like to give you just a little demo of what that event entails.
All right, so thank you for supporting us and giving us the opportunity to go to states. And thank you for attending today so I can share with you about the event I participated in, optics. So in optics, we were supposed to, at the competition, they set up a laser to hit this 6 mark right here, and they put a barrier somewhere along the midline of the setup. Now, it was our goal to set up mirrors around the entire field where we'd be doing our laser test in order to direct the laser around the obstacle and hit whatever target they wanted us to hit. So let's say in this case, we want to hit target 4. So now, in order to know where the light was going to go, we set up the mirrors very, very carefully, as there's a mathematical formula that works every time and allows the light to be constant in where it travels. Now, who here remembers math class from 7th grade? Remember angles? Right, so this mirror is set up at an angle, slanted, like this. And so when light hits, it basically doubles the angle the mirror is facing and goes horizontal after going vertical. So let me just trace the path of the light. Light starts here from the laser right, here, vertical. Oh, hold on. Here. There. So the light bounces off the first mirror. It's the second mirror and bounces off. Now it's going vertical again. It's going horizontal. Now it's going vertical. Horizontal again. Vertical, and boom, it's the target. So it's kind of funny that we spent all this work, all this time and effort for something that takes, I don't know, less than like a millionth of a second to happen. All of our work spent to a millionth of a second. And we can just hope that it hits the 4. So that was optics. It was fun.
And to give them even more credit on that, when they were at the regional event, they did it completely based on calculations. They don't have a ton of time to play around with setting it up and, figuring things out. And they did it completely mathematically at the regional tournament. State tournament, they developed templates that they were able to utilize during the event, but that first one, they really, it blew our minds, the math that they were doing right on the spot. So, and then Matthew, if you want to come up. So the other event, Dynamic Planet, it was basically a paper pen type test, and it was focused on the dynamic movement of Earth's crust, and it included information about earthquakes and tectonic plate movements. And again, that was one of our medals at the state tournament as well as at the regional tournament. And Matthew and Samarth are here for that one as well. I'll just give them a...
Let's say the Earth is an orange. The Earth is an orange, right? Now, the rock that we're all standing on would be only the peel of the orange. Actually, no, I don't even think it would be that. It would be the peel of an apple. That's how small it is. So the rock that we all live on is split up into lots of parts or plates that all fit together to form our world. Those plates float on magma that's right under the rocks, so the juice of the orange. Now, these plates, they move around on the Earth, they intersect, they crash into each other. There are openings where a new plate is formed. There are parts where the plates are sliding against each other. All of these are fault lines where good stuff can happen, rock can be formed, and natural disasters can happen. So Dynamic Planet was basically about learning all of these things and predicting what sort of events would happen at certain boundaries. Also, why is the Earth broken up into plates, and why is it able to float on magma?
It was a very hard test, but we pushed through it. Yeah.
And to wrap up for this evening, we really just wanted to kind of review and present to the community our strategic goals for next year as we continue to expand and develop this team and club. One of them is to continue to represent Eastchester in a positive light at both regional and state levels. And we hope that each year that we continue with this program, we can continue earning more event medals and improving our placement at each of those events. Next year, we'd like to expand the club to register 2 teams at the regional competition to provide more equitable access and opportunity for more students. We'd also really like to harness the parents that are out in our community that are within the STEM fields and have expertise in these various areas. We train the students in about 20 events each year, so it's difficult to have an expertise in all of those. So really tapping into parents and community members that are willing to help with that would be a great resource. And then lastly, we're looking to involve more teachers as well as coaches, again, just to help us with more of that diversity in the content areas that we're able to cover. So thank you very much for having us back again, and we can't wait to continue representing Eastchester next year's season. Thank you.
I do want to say that this magnificent team did submit a proposal, a well-thought-out proposal for next year in terms of increasing their budget. So we'll be meeting with them, I believe it's as soon as next week. Is that right? To talk through your goals and some additional funding that they'll be looking for next year so that these types of activities can grow at the middle school and eventually work their way into the high school from a programmatic point of view. So again, thank you very much. Let's give them all a big round of applause. Okay. So this is also an exciting meeting tonight. We'd like to announce an appointment that the board will be entertaining and approving this evening. Chris Welch, our newly appointed high school principal, worked very closely with administrators in the district and the stakeholder committee, Jeanette Messina and others here tonight to meet with several very talented, capable candidates for the assistant principal at the high school. And tonight we're delighted to recommend Erin Glenmeyer, who is definitely known here at Eastchester High School. Erin has taught math at the high school for 10 years. She is the current chair of the math department and very instrumental in advancing our computer science and robotics programs. So on that note, we invited Erin and her family and would like to ask her to come up to the podium and speak to the board and the community. Let's give her a big round of applause. Erin?
Hello. Good evening, Dr. Valenti, members of the board, and cherished members of the Eastchester community. My name is Erin Glimmeyer, and it is an honor to be appointed to the position of Assistant Principal of Eastchester High School. But actually, this isn't really an introduction, is it? I stood here at this very podium last year to showcase a robotics course. I've worked in this building and I've walked in these hallways for the last 10 years in pursuit of a single goal, to provide the best possible, sorry, I'm touching her. In pursuit of a single goal, to provide the best possible education to the students of Eastchester High School. From the very beginning, my commitment to Eastchester's programs, teachers, and students has been unwavering. And tonight marks a new chapter in my dedication to their success. I'm deeply proud to stand alongside our exceptional educators whose tireless dedication shapes the minds and futures of our students each day. It has been a privilege to work with and to learn from such a talented and passionate team, and I'm committed to supporting them as we continue to strive for excellence. Now, I'm a member of a new team. And I would say that I'm excited by the prospect of working with Principal Chris Welsh and Assistant Principal Joe Gilson, but the truth is that our work together has already begun. After the news of my appointment began to circulate, they immediately reached out and made me feel welcomed as the final member of the high school administration. Within minutes, we were exchanging ideas and organizing our summer work. I feel so privileged to be a part of such an eager, dynamic, and hardworking team. I know that I speak for Chris and Joe when I say that we are committed to upholding the values that make our district truly special. This building is not just a school, but a community where I hope to ensure that every individual is valued, supported, and empowered to reach their fullest potential. I want to take this time to express my heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you for your support, from my colleagues who have become dear friends, to the administrators, Dr. Jeff Capuano, Mr. Joe DeMayo, and again, Mr. Joe Gilson, who have provided their guidance and their mentorship. To my family who's here tonight, my husband in particular, who has been in my corner every step of the way. Shout out to EMS and all the other middle school staff that's here as well. To the students who have inspired me each and every day, I am forever grateful. As I step into this new role, I do so with a profound sense of responsibility and purpose. Together, we will continue to build a brighter future for the students of Eastchester. So in closing, it is an incredible honor to introduce myself to you again, but for the first time, as the Assistant Principal of Eastchester High School. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Did you want to introduce yourself? Yeah. Why don't you introduce them to me?
This is my daughter, Valerie. Let me lift you up.
Got to lift her up. That's great. How old is Valerie?
Valerie is 4 years old.
This many?
Actually, she's almost 4 years old. Valerie, do you want to tell us how old you are? 3 and a half. She's a true child of 2 math teachers. But I think she's nervous. And of course, this is Zach Glimmeyer, my husband and 6th grade math teacher.
Okay, and you have a few other members of the family?
My mom and my stepdad are here too. Colleagues, my mom Carol, my stepdad Brian. Thank you.
Moms make it happen, right?
That's right. We went to dinner before this, and my mom told the waiter, she was like, "My daughter's the assistant principal." I was like, "Mom." So we're very excited. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Again,
you.
congratulations, okay?
Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Okay. So I did want to bring the community up to date on our personnel recruitment timeline. We've shown this a number of times, and each time you see it, you're going to see that those blue-colored tint is going to increase. Tomorrow, we're interviewing for the assistant principal at the middle school, and we hope to have a recommendation for the Board of Education later this month. The day after, Thursday, we'll be interviewing for the very important position at Ann Hutchinson Elementary School. And again, we would like to see if everything goes well with our stakeholder committees and interviews thereafter and negotiations, that we do have an appointment either for later in May or in early June. I do want to say that for each of these positions, we've had well over 150, approaching 200 applicants. And while that number sounds large, I think it's important to say that within that number are a good percentage who are very eligible candidates, and then we've narrowed it down to 4 to 6 who are top-notch candidates. And we define top-notch as fulfilling all the qualification criteria, ranging from the appropriate administration, building, and district leader. In some cases, a preferred doctorate where it's appropriate. In all cases, 3 to 5 years of exemplary administrative experience or its equivalent, having achieved tenure as a teacher. And these are standards that when you add them together, a number of candidates begin to fall off. And that's how you reduce a very large number incrementally to a number that is more manageable. And so the stakeholder committee. Today, literally earlier today, Jeanette Messina and I did meet with the entire Waverly faculty, and the PTA representation was there. We talked about the process that we've talked about several times at PTA Council, at the Zoom meeting, and on other occasions. And they are very much part of the process now, and they will be thinking about recommending members for the stakeholder committee. I want to make the point publicly again that the stakeholder committee is a committee that really is appointed by the specific group that is recommending them. So the Teachers Association recommends the ETA representative and works with the faculty at a particular school to recommend the teachers on that committee. These are not individuals selected by central administration or any other party. CSEA, be it the custodial or the clerical units, they self-select their own representation. The PTA and the SEPTA select their own representation. So I think that's important, and where we have students, and we have had them at the high school in particular, again, it was student government that selected them. So this is a neutral committee that comes together and spends a good deal of time with each of the semifinalists before passing on their evaluations and recommending individuals for a finalist slate. So that's our latest update on personnel recruitment and the timeline therein. As you can see, the final date by the end of June, and we are advertising the Assistant Superintendent for Pupil Personnel Services in 2 ways. One, an interim position, which in meeting with Greg and his team, they did suggest that might be a wise move. However, current individuals who we've contacted were, what were the words? Honored but not interested. Was that it, Greg? So we will continue to recruit. will go to Frontline and OLAS. There might be an interim out there who's a good prospect. Other than that, then we'll do a full-fledged search and find the best possible person. I did want to move along to the calendar. This has been discussed at several board meetings. The only reason I'm bringing it up tonight is that the approved calendar did not show the last week of school, and we wanted to be sure the committee and the community saw this. We all know Juneteenth is now a holiday, so that will be a Thursday next June. And contractually, the last week in June, in this case Monday through Friday, will be half days for students and 1 hour dismissal on Friday. But teachers work the full day for that week, and we do prepare a good deal of professional development intertwined with their cleaning up rooms and packing materials away. Certainly this June, the same will happen next month. And as you know, with the construction work being done, schools like Ann Hutch literally have to pack everything, and it has to be carted away because there's going to be extensive work done at Ann Hutch. So anyway, looking toward next year, this is what we can anticipate. And then the last day of school will be June 27th. I do want to also acknowledge that this is Mental Health Awareness Month, really. It's each week of the month. And in a nod to that, we did recommend, and we are looking for a position that will marry in some way student and staff mental health with the college and career readiness job description that the board had worked with us on as a result of Tri-States, the director of school counseling K-12. So if there is a successful finalist there, we certainly will signal that to the board. Also, I did want to mention that we are working, and I think I mentioned this through the budget process, with Westchester County Department of Health, as well as several agencies who provide support personnel. We'd like to develop a satellite mental health clinic on our secondary campus, so we are working closely there. So on that note, I will thank you and ask if there are any board questions or comments. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Okay, we are up to the consent agenda. Can I have a motion for the consent agenda? Sean? Thank you.
Thank you. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda, which includes the following: 8, approval of minutes; 9, personnel agenda; 10, Committee on Preschool Special Education recommendations; 11, pupil personnel recommendations; 12, educational and curriculum and instruction; 13, business office recommendations; and 14, other business.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Christine? Okay, all in favor? Okay, thank you. And, let's see. Okay, future meeting dates, May 21st, which is the annual budget vote and trustee election, and then June 4th. Okay, we are up to comments from the public. Comments for the public, it's 3 minutes for comment. It's just a reminder, it's not a question and answer session. This portion of the meeting will not exceed 30 minutes, and please state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Capuano, as you know. but my title tonight is Eastchester Administrative Association President. I want to talk to you a little bit about misrepresentations regarding administrative departures this year, and I think it's important for the board to hear that as well as the community. The superintendent has on multiple occasions stated that the mass exodus of administrators is quote unquote normal and part of the normal churn of the district. Quote, it's called a churn. The churn keeps going. People do have careers, and their careers sometimes require them to make moves that they need to make if they want to achieve certain goals, end quote. Board of Ed meeting, April 9th. Quote, this happens. This is normal for spring. Vacancies occur, and we have to look for replacements. Opening session of the Professional Development Day, April 10th. These statements are misleading at best. I believe the Board of Education needs to question why there has been such a significant turnover in administrators, many of whom have dedicated years and decades to this district. As of the writing of this memo, EUSFD has lost 12 administrators in the last 2 years, 7 from the EAA alone, with the potential of more departures. Painting a picture that this is normal turnover is less than accurate. Additionally, the superintendent attributed advancement and salary as reasons for departure. It was asserted that one of the administrators is leaving for, quote, a considerable amount of money more than we were able to pay her. Public comment, April 9th. It was stated that one administrator is leaving for a much larger elementary school and will have a, quote, opportunity to impact 900 students in a K-4 setting as opposed to 400 children in a K-1 school. Parent letter, April 26th. In relation to promotion, it was stated that the career goal of those departing, quote, is to lead their own schools as principal. April 26th letter. While these words may be technically accurate, the narrative presented is not correct. Virtually every building administrator leaving the district this year would have proudly remained in Eastchester if circumstances were different. What is happening is not normal, it is not healthy, it is not beneficial for the students of Eastchester, and painting EAA members as leaving for financial reasons, promotional opportunities, or retirement is not completely accurate. I believe the majority would have stayed and continued joyfully here for multiple years, and opportunities to leave would have not been sought had the environment been different. I would ask that the Board of Education directly and personally complete exit interviews with each of the 7 EAA members leaving the district this year to find out specifically why they are leaving. Hopefully they won't be afraid to share with you what they've shared with me. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. My name is Vince Rendy. In January, I and other property owners from the Water Street area presented to this board that the berm that was completed in December was ineffective and water was still entering our properties. In March, another flood occurred. Mr. Elliott Sheldon witnessed and recorded it. As of today, May 7th, no corrective action has been taken. The flood keeps on destroying properties, and it's becoming a major health hazard. We are here seeking answers. Do we have any? We have more people here from the area that are very concerned that this is being ignored. We don't see this being tabled at any of the school board meetings. Is there a reason? Can anyone respond?
finished your comments, sir?
Yes, I have. But we're still looking for answers.
Has the administration been in touch with you directly, Mr. Rendy?
Not me. Has anyone contacted you? The answer is no.
Nobody contacted you, Mr. Rendy?
No.
Elliot Sheldon's not been in?
Has not contacted me since the flood and since
Now, which flood?
March 23rd, 2024. We're talking about this year, not last year. This is a totally different situation. That's why I think the board should take actions and at least table it and discuss it, because I don't think the public is aware of what's happening. Am I wrong?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
I know that, oh, is this a better mic? Thank you. I do know that I receive regular reports from Elliot Sheldon and from our business official that there is ongoing discussions with you and with the neighbors, and that there are efforts being made to try and resolve the problem with Mamasi, our architect, and with our construction firm. I do know there are constructive plans to remedy the situation. I also know that there are questions being raised as to how much of that flood you're referring to is there prior to any construction that was done, and what can be attributed to construction at the high school. So there have been some reasonable questions raised. I also know there have been several engineering contracts and forensic studies, and most recently, I'm advised that Mamasi has a resolution to this plan. Am I right, Louise?
Yes, yes.
Do you want to elaborate or not?
I think that the proper channel for this is not in this forum. I welcome you to contact me by phone or by email. We've responded to your FOIL requests, and we've been very respondent.
Yeah, this is not part of the FOIL request. This is part of a 2024 situation after the completion of a berm that was supposed to solve the problem, and we're saying, and we're informing the whole School of Education that the problem is not solved.
And we are fully willing to work with you, sir, to remedy the problem.
Well, it's not me. We have plenty of people
Well,
here.
with the four neighbors, and we've met
Well, there's
them.
more than four. There's probably 20 people involved here, okay? This is now becoming a health issue, which is going to affect a lot more people because the action is not being taken quickly enough. Again, we came here in January. We documented a new flood in March. It is May. We haven't heard a word on what action is going to be taking place. The only thing I've heard now is that you are not familiar with, or we don't know the reason why it's flooding. But that's not our concern. We know that property is being damaged, okay? It did not happen ever before the swell was built, okay? It's happening even now after the berm was built. It was supposed to solve the problem of the swell. So the thing is that things are getting worse, and you're telling me that Mr. Sheldon has contacted me since March. The answer is absolutely not. He was supposed to get back to us on some kind of solution, and we're still asking that whatever solution it is, the public should be aware of what the remedy is. Because so far, every time a solution has been tried, it hasn't worked because you haven't informed the public of what you're doing. So is it possible, again, I'm asking the question, I know you're not supposed to answer questions, but it's something that the board should know, that when a solution is supposed to be implemented, the people that are affected should be aware of what's going to happen prior to the implementation. Is that an unusual request from the public?
No, it's not unusual.
Okay, so
But we
that's what
also
we're
are
asking.
very concerned about potential litigation, and litigation cuts many ways, sir.
Right now, we're facing a health issue, and that's all I want to say.
Well, we are well aware of the issue. You can characterize it as one of health, environment, and many other related factors. The bottom line is that we're prepared to sit down with you and the other 19 neighbors or other 3 neighbors who showed up at a prior meeting, and we'd be very happy to bring our architect and construction people in and look for an accommodation and a solution that resolves it. Okay?
Thank you for that.
That is something that certainly we're working toward, and I'd be willing to facilitate that process.
Okay.
Right? We have a district interest in resolving this problem. It's much more complicated than we're elaborating on tonight, but certainly we have an inherent interest in resolving the problem. So I will work with the business officials and the facility officials to invite you, set up a meeting, and come to some resolution in the near term and then longer term as needed.
Okay, thank you. So basically, the city and your engineers will be involved in this?
I'm sorry, I missed what you said.
The city, the Eastchester, and your engineers will be involved in this?
I can only speak for the school district. I can't speak for the town of Eastchester. Certainly, the school district's officials and engineers will be involved in the meeting that we call.
Okay,
If there is a need to bring in Eastchester town officials, then that is a separate issue that we can certainly address.
okay. Can you provide a schedule for me, or how do when can we do this?
Well, let's say tomorrow when I meet with Louise and Elliot, I'll find time in between interviews and everything else we do,
Okay,
and see if we can set up a meeting. We have to find out when our architect and construction folk are available. I also believe we have certain board members who are members of the Facilities Committee. We'd like to include them. I'd suggest the meeting be in the district conference room, but for the sake of people who might not be able to make it, we might be able to afford Zoom or Google Meet, so it's a hybrid type of meeting.
thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Joseph Santa Maria. I just purchased a home on Water Street in November of last year. And my house is also part of the issues that the gentleman was just explaining. So before we get started, first of all, I want to thank the board with the signage outside that shows you the date, the temperature. I like the new awning for the high school out there. Looks great. My kids are graduates from this school. They're all finishing up college now. Now you're asking for a $105 million budget. How do you expect the people on Water Street to approve a budget while they're getting water in their basements? And again, I understand Eastchester is a great town. I love it, and I want to stay here. I don't want to move. But now you're asking for money, or more money, and we can't get our issues rectified. So the question I really have is, can anybody on this board tell me how much money is allocated to the Eastchester School District from the lottery system? Do we know how much is allocated to Eastchester for people that play lotto? Does anybody have a rough number? I'm not
We have a
looking at it.
revenue analysis that is public information. If that revenue analysis shows money from the lotto, I don't know if it specifically surfaces in terms of lottery. It may come in through different revenue streams. We know what our revenue streams are. They're all public and transparent and informational.
Yeah, but nobody on this board would know about money coming in, because when you ask for a $105 million budget, aren't you looking at the lotto money that's coming in? So maybe you don't need 105, you might need 102 or 103. No one looks at that?
I'm confused by your question.
Very simple.
What is
If
it?
money is being allocated to the Eastchester School District from the people that play lotto, shouldn't that be discussed about a budget that you're asking for?
People who play lotto, that money goes to New York State.
Correct.
New York State determines how monies come to the 715 school districts in New York State. There is no stream called lotto. We get state aid, we get different types of state aid, we get per pupil state aid, we get excess cost state aid, we get special ed state aid, but there's no title lotto. That's my point.
Okay, so if there's no title, how do you know what's coming in? You just don't know.
Oh, I know what's coming in to the penny, but I don't know what's coming from lotto because that's a decision made up in Albany.
That doesn't sound right.
It sounds right to me. I mean, look, if there's more money you're willing to give us through lotto, we're willing to accept it. But the bottom line is, there is no line in the state budget in the revenue stream for school districts that has that specific title that I'm aware of. Louise, are you aware of a lotto stream that we're getting?
I'll just respond by saying that when the state produces their state aid runs through the governor's run, there is nothing labeled as lottery aid, which is what you're talking about. At some point when they pay it out in the spring of the end of the school year, so if we're talking about next year's budget, the $105 million, there will be a portion of it that they will label as lottery aid. But a school district, and you can see all of this, it's very public online, a school district has no information as to what portion of the $16 million that's allocated to Eastchester, what portion of that would be lottery aid at this point. I don't know if that helps you, but I encourage you to do some research because, you know, sometimes when you see it, it helps you understand.
I understand, I will do research, but it's just still hard for me to believe that no one on this board has an idea if it's 500,000, 100,000?
Well, I'll just respond with, we've budgeted, for, assuming the $16 million that the state has specifically designated to Eastchester. Frankly, it's not overly important if it's lottery aid or if it's building aid or transportation aid or excess cost aid. We look at it in totality. But again, I'm happy to give you my phone number and I could let you know what we got last year in lottery aid if you would find that to be valuable.
Yeah, how about the last 3 years? If you could give me the last 3 years, that'd be great.
Sure. Why don't you want to give me your email address or contact
Yeah.
information?
Sure, I'll write it down for you.
Okay, thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Harmeet Goindi, father of 3 children, one in Waverly, one in middle school, and one in high school. Samarth Goindi, the guy who was playing with lasers and talking about Earth being orange and apple. I'm here to first of all thank you for your support, the board, the district, the teachers for supporting the students, and you have seen how far, you know, little support takes the student. We went from regional to nationals. And what I'm here today is to ask you, requesting you to increase the support because we have more competitions and activities in STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, and math, stuff like Science B, Geography B, first robotics, and I hope that you guys find in your budget a little bit more support for these activities so you can see more achievements that you just saw today. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Colleen Canning, 87 Highland Avenue. Thank you for your time. I come to you as a concerned parent of 2 elementary school students. I'm very, very concerned about the turnover at the administrative level. I feel as though come September, we won't have much institutional knowledge from pre-COVID times at the administrative level. I'm Sorry to hear about the departure of Dr. Stoll. I'm very concerned to hear that his replacement, or that the hiring process for that has stalled. People have, thanks but no thanks. I'm concerned that the mass exodus of our administrative leaders will reflects very poorly on the district, and that it will, East Chester will develop a reputation that is undeserved, that we are a good school district, but if we keep churning our administrators and we don't support our educators in the classroom level, then we're going to, that's not the reason we all moved here, that's not the reason we all pay the enormous taxes that we do. We are here for the excellent quality of the schools and the excellent administrative leadership. I don't, like many others, I really, really questioned the validity of some of Dr. Valenti's assertions in that letter to families. People don't make lateral moves for an extra $5,000. It's just not, when they're tenured and they've been in the district for many, many years. I think there's something larger at play, and I do hope that you conduct very thorough exit interviews with all these administrators, get to the bottom of what the issues are, and resolve it. There seems to me and to others to be a common denominator here, and let's address that and maybe even explore a buyout. I don't know, but I think that there's a toxic environment that's been created. It is not in the normal course for tenured administrators to leave their positions, and for assistants to not be offered the role of principal or not even be considered for that opportunity. So please conduct due diligence, and please do very thorough exit interviews for our departing staff. And we wish them all well, and I just hope that their replacements are as wonderful as the candidates that we're losing. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sean Bolduc, 14 Myrtle. I have 3 daughters in my school. I know a few of you here and respect all the board here. I guess before I would get going, I would like to understand if anybody has done any exit interviews other than Dr. Valenti on the 12 administrators that have left in the last 2 years? Can we have some feedback on whether or not anyone has reached out to any of them? Yes, sir.
I have to be very careful what I say, because all administrators talk to me, and I do respect confidentiality.
But you voided the confidentiality the moment you sent that letter out and said that a administrator left for money, correct?
How is that avoiding confidentiality?
You voided.
Yeah, I know the word void.
So that administrator admitted they left for money.
To me.
To you, they admitted they left for money.
Correct.
So what would an
Also, I know 2 elementary assistant
What would
principals.
an adequate superintendent be paid to ensure that this doesn't happen again? Because we just hired I'm not a superintendent, I'm sorry, a principal. We just hired a principal for $230,000, more than what she left for. So what is the adequate amount to ensure that we have continuity with our administration?
Well, as I said at the prior session, from 5 to 6:15, there are market rates out there, sir, and we better know them.
So what is it?
Well, I'll give it to you.
Sure.
By designation. Depends how much time we have tonight.
For a
Look at the
principal.
nurses.
No, just simple, just simple.
It is very
Stick to the
simple.
administration.
Look
For
at the nurses last year.
I'm not worried about the nurses.
We upped the
Hold
salary.
on,
Well,
no,
I don't.
You're deflecting.
I
You're
think
deflecting.
I'm not deflecting.
100%.
The point.
What is the proper payment for a principal? We just hired someone for 230. Did we underpay them?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so we let somebody
But
go.
I had to push the edges of the envelope for that.
Okay,
If
so-
you look at the EAA ranges within the contract, and that's the administrative contract, there are ranges there, and I said this publicly several times, that only approach the median of the county.
So we will
Now,
get-
the median of the county is 50 percentile. If you want to reach into upper quartiles, then you've got to pay more money.
We are part of the upper quartiles of the state. We are one of the.
No, forget the state.
No, no,
You're
no,
in
no,
Westchester County.
No, we are fine, even in the county.
I'm not competing with Niagara Falls.
This is not
No.
a question and answer session.
Well, he
If-
started it. I
well,
asked the question. My question to you folks are you doing the proper outreach to the administration to
We
ensure
can't
this
answer
doesn't
that.
continue?
If you would like to have a question and answer session, you can make an appointment with the superintendent. We can't answer it.
So you can't answer if you're reaching out as the representatives to our community for the school district. You will not reach out. You will not acknowledge if you're reaching out to the principals. Are you reaching out to the principals as to why they're leaving?
Dr. Valenti, I think what would be great is if you could explain how the process, when an individual, administrator, teacher, faculty, staff, decides to leave the district, what is the proper protocol that we take, that you take, that Jeanette Messina takes to conduct a formal, we can't do that.
Fair.
But there is a protocol that Jeanette Messina, who is the head of our HR department, that will undertake exit interviews, and it's at the.
Very fair.
You know, so, and it's
Yes.
but each individual who does decide to leave, they don't necessarily have to take that exit interview.
100% fair.
So I just wanted to share that fact,
So
and I don't know
if we spend $105 million on a budget, and we're told that we can't retain our principals, is that not a concern for the board that they have to take action to ensure this doesn't continue?
Well, first of all, nobody
No,
said,
we don't?
excuse me, nobody said we can't retain our principals.
But you said that they're leaving for money.
I said some.
Some are leaving for money.
One in particular. I also said and wrote, and I'm glad Dr. Capuano said everything I wrote was technically accurate, explore the narrative. Well, that could be anyone's narrative, okay? I do know we have 2 administrators who agreed to an employee incentive retirement program, okay? They agreed to it. In fact, they negotiated it with the district.
Okay?
Now, if that's not good faith negotiations, and if that is not a clear desire to retire, well, then you can create whatever narrative
Are
you'd
you
like.
replacing those 2, I think they're social studies teachers, are you
I'm
replacing
not
those 2 in
finished
kind?
yet. I'm not finished yet. There are 15 teachers who have decided to retire in good faith, okay? There are 5 teaching assistants who took the incentive, 5 CSEA individuals who took the incentive. So this is something that is normal within school districts. You offer the opportunity. We negotiated it in good faith with each of the unions. The board publicly approved it. Any of those departures can't be made part of a narrative where all of a sudden folks are rushing out of Eastchester. This was a planned, known departure. So let's talk just about administrators.
Well, hold on, that's a good point, though, let's stop there.
Thank
I
you.
hope the board would go out, because this is a tight-knit community, and confirm whether or not that narrative that they're just leaving in good faith is purely accurate. Because the community talks.
Oh, of course people talk. But
Yeah,
the point is, what are the facts?
sure.
And the facts is, when you sign on the dotted line to accept a teacher retirement or a CSEA retirement or EA retirement, that's a fact. That's a legal fact. That's not even debatable. And to be discussing it after the fact as, oh, maybe it's a different narrative, really strikes me as folly.
You wrote a letter that somebody just came up there representing the administration that suggested at best is inaccurate.
No,
Nobody
the
hears
quote, the
question
quote was, whatever you wrote was accurate, but the narrative is different. But that's not why you're standing here.
Why am I standing here?
Well, I think I understand you to be asking about administrators.
That's
So
a
let's
start.
talk about administrators. And we're not violating confidentiality. You have a gentleman sitting here who's going to become a superintendent of schools.
Okay?
Ask him what his goals are in life.
What does that have to do with anything I asked you?
It has to do with, it's a natural churn. You don't become an assistant superintendent to be there for the rest of your natural life.
All right, I'm just going to.
I mean, come on.
End this now, and I think that if you
Thank
would
you.
like to make an appointment, you can do so.
Thank you very much for your time.
supposed to be 30 minutes, yeah.
Okay, this will be the last public comment because we are exceeding our 30 minutes.
I'll be brief. My name is Francis Galata. I live at 12 Hall Avenue. I'm a parent of a 6-year-old enrolled at Waverly. My family was thrilled at the care and attention he's received from the school and from the principal and vice principal. We're dismayed to learn of the turnover in the school and the district. I've worked as a VP and a director and as a leader in small and large organizations, from 5 to 400,000. And one of the core responsibilities I have as a leader is to engage and retain. And if I had the kind of turnover that we just had, I'd be looking for a new job. That's a fact. It's obvious that didn't happen here. And I'd like to know what else besides a hiring plan that we're going to do to address the issue. All right, thank you.
I thought you said it was over.
Thought he was last.
I think he's the last one, Vito. Okay, all right, Vito.
All
And
right.
then,
I actually signed up first. Second.
okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Good evening, everyone. You all know my name is Vito Catania. I actually came here tonight expecting a budget hearing. Haven't heard a thing about the budget other than Dr. Valenti saying something very early. So my question is, did I miss that? Was there another meeting that you did the presentations with the class sizes? And okay, that's my bad. Okay. Well, then my question is, what is the tax increase this year and how does it relate to the tax cap? Can you answer that for me? Because I haven't seen anything. The last I saw is Eastchester was going to be over the cap.
Where did you see that, Vito?
A month ago?
Where? Source. What's your source?
Honestly, I don't remember.
All right,
Are we
Vito.
under?
Vito.
Yes.
Westchester Putnam School Board Association, right?
Yeah, I know.
We're under the cap, 2.96%, okay?
I thought the cap's 2%.
Budget to budget. No. Each district has its own cap based on a number of factors, okay? It's referred to as the 2% cap, all right? Then as a board member, a well-schooled veteran board member, there is the word excludables. Do you know what that means, Rudy?
Yeah.
What does
and
that mean?
I know exactly. There's capital items and things like that.
Yes.
That fall below the line of the 2%.
No, it doesn't.
Well,
Not the way
don't
the
get
law
counted.
is written, Vito.
Right, they don't get
You
counted.
know the law is written differently.
Okay, so we're under the cap.
You are under the cap, technically under the cap. Yes, you are, sir.
Okay.
But your excludables are part of
Okay.
that total.
No, I know, that always happens. That's all.
Well, look, I mean, let's be fair. It does happen, but we're not ducking any questions
No,
here
you
tonight.
answered my question, so
All
thank
right.
you very much.
Budget to budget, 3%, Vito. That's very good compared to other districts in this county. All right, it's
Yeah,
not the
look-
best. It's not zero.
Tucko's 194. But they
Yeah,
have different
but
excludables.
where's Scarsdale?
I get it.
Yeah.
I get
All right.
it. Okay, so that's just my last comment before I leave, but thank you for answering that question. And I'm glad to see that you are under the cap. I'm sorry to hear that you're leaving. That's the first I heard of it. Okay? But I just want to make one comment, and I wasn't aware of all the departures that were going on. As you know, I've found other things to do with my time, which is great, actually. But what really scares me is the fact that so many people are leaving at the same time. People should not be held back from professional growth. I believe in that, okay? People take a job and they look to move on and advance themselves, and that's great. But the fact that we're losing so many, and Dr. Valenti, I know we signed you up for 3 years, and your third year is next year, and assuming that the district doesn't extend that, a year from now, we'll be talking about a new superintendent with 7, 8, 9 new administrators. And as everybody knows, I'm big into baseball. You can't have a winning team with all rookies. And I find it upsetting. That's all I want to say. I have faith that you're going to go out and find some good people, because the people that you're losing were very good people. When we hired them, they were top of the class. They were really good. They showed their worth. They showed what they could do. I know. I see. Come on, cut me some slack.
You know, Vito, you know the rules.
I know the rules. But it just concerns me that we're going to have so many new people next year and potentially a new leader the following year, and it's just, I don't know, you guys got your hands full. I wish you good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Vito.
Do we have a motion to adjourn? Christine, do we have a second? Sean, all in favor? Good night, everyone.